I'm Jack Mandeville, and this is Jacked History. Those damn kids. It's a line that has been muttered one way or another by every generation in human history. A person is born. They soon learn how to walk, talk, and the very basics of conduct in life. Eventually, they grow up to be teenagers and young adults. Wild, free, energetic, cool. They know just enough to get by in life, but are not yet cursed with age and wisdom that will inevitably slow them down. Their fashion, music, and slang matters in this world. Then those youngsters will wake up one day and be 40, and they'll look at a new crop of young people with suspicion and, in worst cases, with fear. They'll somehow try to convince themselves that they were different when they were younger, smarter, better behaved, better work ethic. And any attempt of someone to explain to them that this is the normal part of the cycle of life will be met by a basic response of, no, it's different this time. Today's kids are worse than we were. Even though every bit of statistics shows that young people are better behaved and as willing to work as ever. And it's at this point that you officially become old and out of touch. It's not that you don't understand new fashion, music, or slang. That's perfectly fine. It's that you're scared of those things. You're scared of it because you can't face the fact that young people determine what's cool and relevant, and you no longer have a say on that matter. That's one of the spookiest things every person will face in life. So, as you approach your middle age years, you have two choices. A, just accept that you're no longer cool and be the adult you need to be in life. Or B, exhibit bitterness towards the youth because you can't admit that you'll never have that again.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
Today we're talking about how wild kids across America were responsible for the birth of Halloween festivities as we know them today. But first, let's go back a couple thousand years to the Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, were an Indo-European people whose presence stretched from modern-day Turkey all the way to the Iberian Peninsula and north to the modern UK and Ireland. The Samhain rituals, steeped in Celtic paganism, were meant to mark the end of the harvest season and usher in the winter months, often occurring on November 1st. In these rituals, you would see people dancing around bonfires, often dressed up in attire, communicating with their dead ancestors. This was a period of the year that the Celts believed spirits and other supernatural beings were released into their living world. And as most things, these customs and traditions evolved as Christianity took a stronger foothold in the region. By the 8th century, All Saints' Day was established by the Church on November 1st, absorbing and replacing many of the pagan traditions. And it evolved, and evolved, and evolved. By the 19th century, you had this cool new place called the United States of America. And in the United States of America, they were getting a massive influx of these Irish, Scottish, and English peoples who were bringing their old world traditions with them. And while you had a good chunk of English Puritans in the American Northeast who staunchly refused to partake in certain practices of the spooky, the Scotch-Irish Catholics in particular knew how to party. Look, I want to be clear. I'm not a religious person myself, but just because I'm non-religious doesn't mean I'm anti-religious. I understand the role that religion has played in human development and history, and it's important to study and understand because of that reason. So just purely from an objective point of view on the matter, I gotta say, Catholics go the hardest out of any Western religion when it comes to the party aspect. And again, it's important to note that much of the party culture the Catholics bring has less to do with theological dogma and more to do with a substantial portion of traditional European Catholics and their American descendants from Canada to South America being relatives of the Celtic people, whose customs and traditions greatly impacted the direction of the religion. So in that sense, Catholics are more fun because the Celts were fun. You tracking? Anywho, many of the European practices around All Saints' Day evolved into unique American official and unofficial customs. One of the unofficial customs was the growth of mischievousness amongst the youth. Those damn kids. Yes, Mischiefness is still very much a part of Halloween activities to this day. Some pumpkin smashing, an egged house here and there. But over 100 years ago, it was out of control. Little boys in particular were wreaking havoc all over early 20th century America, vandalizing structures with soap and sometimes paint, tipping over outhouses, dumping human shit all over the place. Fires. They were setting fires. And then came the cows. Those little rapscallions let cows out of the adjacent farm fields to go running through the streets of the city of Anoka, Minnesota. Many of them were doing this while guising, which was the old Scottish act of wearing masks, which was the predecessor to the modern act of dressing up for Halloween. If you were an adult, you were just hunkered down in your house, praying for the night to be over like it was the frickin' purge out there. Mayhem. Pure mayhem in the streets as the youth ran the night and the adults could only pray for daybreak on November 1st. Enter the town of Anoka, Minnesota, the self-proclaimed Halloween capital of the world. Anoka today is very much considered a suburb of Minneapolis, but 100 years ago, it was a standalone lumber community on the banks of the Mississippi River, far away from the big city. I myself grew up just 2 towns over from Anoka, having spent a great deal of my younger years there. You know, when I was cool and had my whole life ahead of me. My mother and all my maternal aunts and uncles went to Anoka High School. By 1920, the locals, they were over it. Each year, things kept getting worse and more dangerous. Something had to be done. That's when George Green, a local businessman, came up with a good idea. Let's just create a community-sanctioned Halloween party to wrangle and monitor these little bastards. If we get the schools, police, and local businesses to join in on the party, then the kids will have no choice but to be involved where we can control the chaos. Local businesses decorated their storefronts, communal games were held with prizes, and a parade of dressed-up children numbered over 500. It makes sense, right? Colorado, instead of trying to fight the cannabis industry, decided to sanction and control it. Wait, that's not the best comparison. Okay. It's like when parts of Nevada, instead of trying to combat the oldest occupation in the world, decided instead to decriminalize prostitution so they could safely monitor it. Damn, that's another bad example. Okay. It's like when black people got sick of people calling them that word, so they decided to start using it themselves. And it kind of worked. It took a lot of power from the word. But now we're living in this weird world with that word. Like when I'm walking around San Antonio and I hear a bunch of Edgar teenagers using that word, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know, man. Are you sure you're supposed to be using that word? I don't think that word was meant for you. Did something happen from the time I was a kid to now where it's perfectly normal for kids to be tossing that word around so casually? Am I old and out of touch? Or are these Edgars fucking morons?
A dozen Edgars at your door, a dozen Edgars you can't ignore. They want some trees, they want it now. 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cup, 4. So many Edgars at your door. Just give them, grill your ass off and send them away. Okay, Mocha, your cares away.
Those damn kids. On the morning of November 1st, 1920, the citizens of Anoka, Minnesota woke up to clean and tidy streets for the first time in years. And the best part? The kids still had a great time. The Anoka Halloween parade and celebration grew each year after. First, it was people coming to the celebration from neighboring towns. Then they came from neighboring states. Then they came from all over the country and world. In 1937, Anoka was proclaimed the Halloween capital of the world. By the 1950s, famous Hollywood actors were coming into town just to get in on the fun. That little Halloween party the city of Anoka threw to minimize youthful mischief ballooned into a month-long festival that still continues to this day. It's like when you go to Germany during December and you realize Christmas is like a month-long experience for them. That's what Halloween is to Anoka. And in the big picture of Halloween, It was the post-World War II years that the entire country started really celebrating the holiday to the point where it's now the second highest grossing commercial holiday next to Christmas. Parties, festivals, and parades are common all over the country. Heck yeah, Anoka. Heck yeah. Oh, and before I end this episode, I've got some cool news. Jacked History is now publishing exclusive episodes on Pepperbox TV. That means if you sign up for Pepperbox, you'll get one exclusive Jacked History a month, access to all of my YouTube releases 24 hours prior, and an exclusive cooking show I'm doing with Caleb Francis called Palates of the Past. Peter will be there too, right, Peter? And on top of that, you'll have dozens of other original shows from some funny folks. I can't thank all of you enough for supporting this show the last 11 months. Seriously, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've always played supporting characters my entire career, and to be honest with you, I like playing those parts. Never did I think carrying a show would be in my cards, and now it is, because of your amazing support. Please like, share this episode, hit that notification button, and above all else, subscribe if you like what we're doing over here.